Hi, welcome to File Transfer Protocol video lecture series. This is Antosh Dade. In this video, we will understand TFTP data transfer. Objective of this video is to understand TFTP data transfer. Data transfer. The data transfer phase occurs between connection establishment and connection termination. TFTP uses the services of UDP, which is unreliable. In TFTP, the file is divided into block of data in which each block except the last one is exactly 512 bytes. The last block must be between 0 to 511 bytes, which marks the end of data transfer. TFTP can transfer data in ASCII or binary format. TFTP uses UDP, which does not have any mechanism for flow control and error control. Hence, TFTP has to create a flow control and error control mechanism to transfer a file made of continuous block of data. Flow control. TFTP sends a block of data using the data message and wait for an acknowledgement from the receiver. If the sender receives an acknowledgement before the timeout, it sends the next block. Thus, flow control is achieved by numbering the data blocks and waiting for an acknowledgement from the receiver before the next data block is sent. Retrieve a file. The TFTP client sends the RRQ message, read request message, to retrieve or read a file. The name of the file and the mode of transmission is defined in the message. Thus, if the server can transfer a file, it responds positively with the data message containing the first block of data. Or if there is a problem such as difficulty in opening the file or permission restriction, the server responds negatively by sending an error message. Store a file. The TFTP client uses WRQ message, write request message, to store a file. The name of the file and transmission mode is defined in the message. If the server can accept a copy of the file, it responds positively with acknowledgement using value 0 for the block number. After receiving the acknowledgement, the client sends the data block with a block number of 1. Or if there is any problem, the server responds negatively by sending an error message. Error control. The TFTP sender and the receiver both uses timeouts. The sender uses a timeout for data messages. The receiver uses a timeout for acknowledgement messages. If data message is lost, the sender retransmits it after timeout expiration. If an acknowledgement is lost, the receiver retransmits it after timeout expiration. This guarantees a smooth operation. Error control is needed in 4 situations: a damaged message, a lost message, a lost acknowledgement, and a duplicate message. damaged message. There is no negative acknowledgement in TFTP. If a block of data is damaged, it is detected by the receiver and the block is discarded. The sender waits for the acknowledgement and does not receive it within the timeout period, and the block is then sent again. You know, there is no checksum field in the data message of TFTP. The only way the receiver can detect data corruption is through the checksum field of the UDP user datagram. Lost message. If a block is lost, it never reaches the receiver and no acknowledgement is sent. The sender resends the block after the timeout. Lost acknowledgement. If an acknowledgement is lost, we can have two situations, like if the timer of the receiver matures before the timer of the sender, the receiver retransmits the acknowledgement, otherwise the sender retransmits the data. Duplicate messages. Duplication of block can be detected by the receiver through a block number. If a block is duplicated, it is simply discarded by the receiver. Let us see one example. Here, client and server. Client want to read file 1 in ASCII mode from the server. So client will send a read request message. Accordingly, server will respond with the first block of data, that is 512 bytes with block ID 1, and client will acknowledge the receipt of that block 1 to the server. After receipt, the acknowledgement from the client for first block, it will release the second block. You can see the second block with 512 bytes with block ID 2, it is released. However, it is lost, it is not reached to the client. It will wait for an acknowledgement. If the server did not receive an acknowledgement for block number 4, before the timeout occurs, then it will resend the same block. You can see it is resending the same block, block number 2 with block ID 2 to the client. The client received it and client is acknowledging the block receipt of this block 2 to the server. Here in this scenario, after receipt of this block 2, the server will release the block 3 with block ID 3. However, you can see the client has acknowledged for receipt of block ID 3, however it is lost. The server did not receive this acknowledgement. Here, in this situation, when the client did not receive the block ID 4 from the server before timeout occurs for this acknowledgement, so it will resend the third acknowledgement once again, as it understood maybe its acknowledgement is lost. As we discussed in the previous slides, here there are two situations. Maybe the client timer timeout first or server timer timeout first. Whichever timer timeout first, that will release the duplicate message once again. So the server received the acknowledgement for the third block, so it will release the fourth block. Here in this scenario, we have shown the client received the damaged fourth block. As we know, TFTP does not have any CRC technique to check whether it has received damaged block or not. So it will use the help of UDP datagram CRC technique to check whether it has received damaged block or correct block. So it has received damaged block. So when it received damaged block, it will not acknowledge for that block. So here, when the server did not receive the acknowledgement for fourth block, it will understand maybe its block may be lost, or it may be received by client in damaged condition. Hence it will retransmit the same block, fourth block. Also here you can see this fourth block is having less than 512 bytes. It means it is the end of file transmission. It is the last block of that file, and client receives this block and it will acknowledge accordingly. It will understand both, this client will understand this fourth block is the last block of that file, as it is having less than 512 bytes. Sourcer's apprentice bug. Although the flow control and error control mechanism is symmetric in TFTP, it can lead to a problem known as the Sourcer's apprentice bug, named after the cartoon character who inadvertently conjures up a mob that continuously replicates itself. I request you to watch this video. The link is given in the comment section of this video. Here the acknowledgement message for a packet is not lost but delayed. In this situation, every succeeding block is sent twice and every succeeding acknowledgement is received twice. The acknowledgement for the fifth block is delayed. After the timeout expiration, the sender retransmits the fifth block. Which will be acknowledged by the receiver again. The sender receives two acknowledgements for the fifth block, which triggers it to send the sixth block twice. The receiver receives the sixth block twice and again sends two acknowledgements, which results in sending the seventh block twice, and so on. UDP ports. TFTP follows a different set of steps in communication between a client TFTP and server TFTP. If a TFTP server uses the well-known port 69 to communicate with single client, and no other client can use this service during that time, only one client can communicate with the TFTP server. The solution to this problem is to use the well-known port for the initial connection and an ephemeral port for the remaining communication. Let's see with example. UDP ports. The server passively open the connection using well-known port 69 initially. A client actively open a connection using an ephemeral port on the source port and the well-known port 69 for destination port. This is done through using RRQ message and WRQ message. Here the client is using 50032 ephemeral port with well-known port 69. This is passive open, this is active open. The server actively opens a connection using new ephemeral port. You can see the server, after connection establishment from the client, the server want to free the well-known port for connecting other clients, so it will select a new ephemeral port for the source port and uses this ephemeral port with received ephemeral port from the client to establish a connection for future communication. So this well-known port, it will get free to listen the new client request. In the next video, we will discuss TFTP application. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.